Good morning and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Review. So today's book review is going to be on Terry Pratchett's Wyrd Sisters. So this is the sixth book in the Discworld novels. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I've been reading the Discworld lately. And will, of course, continue to read it because I'm really enjoying this series. So this story is about three witches. We have Granny Weatherwax, who, as we learn in this book, she's the most influential of the leaders the witches don't have. So witches, they don't really have leaders. They don't have any kind of formal organization to their society. They're just witches. We've got Nanny Ogg, who is the middle witch of the three characters. So she's kind of right in the middle and definitely has that nanny persona about her. And then we got Margaret, who is the youngest of the three, so she's just kind of still learning the trade, still learning how to be a witch. So of course the three together make up what is known as the Wyrd Sisters. Now the Wyrd Sisters is not a very nice term. We learn in this book that it's more of a derogatory term for the three witches themselves. And the main storyline behind this is we have the Duke who killed the previous king in order to gain power for himself. So, but he wants to hide the fact that he did this. He doesn't want people to know that he's guilty. And so he commissions this troupe of actors to basically rewrite history and write a play about him and how he's the hero of the kingdom. And the old king was really bad, and it was totally an accident, though, that the old king died. What he doesn't know is that this troupe of actors, one of them just happens to be the missing heir to the throne, who also happens to be in possession of the actual kingdom's crown. So the real deal, the real thing. But the problem here is that the heir to the throne and the crown went missing when the heir, or the true king, was still a child, no more than 2 years old. And so the three Wyrd sisters, or the witches, are basically compelled to intervene in the affairs of the kingdom, something they've always sworn not to do. But as Granny once put it, if you swear never to swim and find yourself drowning, sometimes you have to either drown or break your vow. And so she and the three sisters, or the Wyrd Sisters, intervene, and they manage to fast forward time and get it all sorted out in the end. So that's the gist of this story, the gist of this particular book, or not, well, within the whole greater series. But I have to say, there's definitely, like typical Terry Pratchett, there's absolutely some good advice, I guess, or some insights into his writing that really kind of pokes at the fun of modern day culture. One of my favorite parts, or one of the best quotes I think from the books themselves, is Granny Weatherwax when she's saying the problem with crowns is not the putting of the crown on. That's the easy part. It's the taking off that crown. Now it seems to me this was kind of Terry's way of putting in a little bit of jab at the idea that it's very easy to obtain power and control or influence. But it's the knowing when to let go, the knowing when to take that power off, that seems to be the bigger problem. So the other idea that's kind of presented within this story as well is part of it is we have our three sisters, or three witches, that are in the audience of this troupe of performers who are performing this new play. It's supposed to make the Duke look good, and supposed to vindicate him and just make him look like the good guy. One of the things that was said was, well, this was history. It might not be true, but that really has nothing to do with it. So it really kind of takes a shot at this idea that history can be manipulated or controlled or rewritten by those who are in a position of power that wish to remain there. Given that this particular play or performance was actually commissioned by the Duke for sole purpose in mind of convincing the masses that what he did didn't actually happen. So this idea of whitewashing history, of just manipulating and changing the report of history to suit your own needs, gaslighting history to convince those of what you want that history to show, what you want that history to be true. And so just some really interesting concepts within this book, and I love the way Terry Pratchett he just seems so good at poking fun at these ideas, while at the same time highlighting them within his story. The idea of changing history to reflect what we want it to reflect, or those in power want it to reflect. The idea that power is easy to attain, but it's not so easy to let go. This idea also present within this book, this idea that words have power, that they could be amongst the most powerful tools we have at our disposal. And so there's just some really, really great things that I really liked about this book, some great ideas that were put forward within this book, and definitely recommend it. And also, of course, if you have not already seen, check out the playlist Terry Pratchett on this channel, where you can take a look at all the reviews that I've done on Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. And so, as always, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the links to all my social media profiles in the description below. And those were just some of my thoughts on Wyrd Sisters by Terry Pratchett. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have yourself a great day.